Alright guys, let's talk about Survival of the Dead, which is the sixth and final George A. Romero film that he directed before his death in 2017. So, it's weird because coming full circle with the Romero movies, I loved the first three movies. I really, really love Night, Dawn, and Day of the Dead. I think they're fantastic movies. And then we go to Land of the Dead, which I thought was just in the middle of the road. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great like the first three. And then we get to Diary of the Dead, which I thought was atrocious, and I hated it. I thought it was horrible and had no reason to exist. And even though it had some different ideas for like his movies in that world, and I did like the fact that even if I don't like some of his movies, George A. Romero did do different things in each movie, and I appreciate that. But I really could not stand Diary of the Dead. And then we get to Survival of the Dead, which I have seen before, but I didn't remember much about it. And then watching this again, I watched this a few hours ago, I already forgot what was even in this movie. This one, it wasn't as anger-inducing as Diary. Like, Diary of the Dead made me pissed off. Like, I literally was so mad at that movie because I hated everything about it. I hated the characters. I hated the annoyingness of it. I hated the found footage angle, and I don't mind found footage movies, but that one in particular just really rubbed me the wrong way. And then going into this one, like I said, I watched it a couple hours ago, and I really don't remember it at all. The basic plot is that these National Guardsmen are like they're on the road where the zombies are attacking, and they're just trying to survive. And that's it. I don't really know what else in the plot. And I know that it connected to the last movie because they shows this guy take the camera from like the kids from the last movie. So I thought that was interesting that they connected the two. But because they usually don't do that in these movies. They usually just have a new set of characters. And I like how this character was established in the last movie, and these characters were, and they stole the camera from the guys in the last movie. I thought that was pretty fun. I did like that idea, even though it's just the beginning of the movie. But they're just on the run, trying to escape zombies, and again, these characters, like Diary, they're not as annoying or anger-inducing, but they're just so bland. All of these characters, like I said, I watched this a couple hours ago. I don't remember a thing about them already, and I paid attention to the movie. It's not like I didn't either. I just don't. There's nothing about these characters that was interesting or fascinating, and the kills were not very fascinating either because they had like CG over regular gore, like practical effects. So it really didn't stick out. And this movie is so blandly shot and how it looks that I really don't have anything much to say about this movie because it was just so forgettable and so bland and so boring, but not in a way where it was anger-inducing like Diary was. But it's not as bad as Diary was, but it's just so forgettable. This is an utterly forgettable sequel. I just remember not much. I remember there's a moment where these characters make stupid decisions, and I know they're in all zombie movies. But there's one moment in particular where this character, you know this zombie's going to bite her, but this character is like, no, I can get to her because like they know stuff from when they were alive, and then she tries to convince the zombie to like go away, and then the zombie bites her, and everybody's just like, and I'm just like, did you not expect that to happen? Seriously? Like, that is so stupid, and like, I don't get how, like, moments like that in the movie are just so, they're not anger-inducing, but they're just annoying. It's like, you've done this 6 times in this franchise, and this one, to me, just wasn't very interesting at all. It was really boring and really, really forgettable. It felt like a zombie movie that would have been done by anybody else. It doesn't feel like Diary of the Dead, it doesn't feel like George A. Romero was really making a movie to make a difference in the genre, because you could argue that you definitely can argue that Night and Dawn are like the quintessential zombie movies that started the genre and changed the genre. The first Night of the Living Dead was the one that started it and made it become big, and also Dawn became the one where it was safe to make it funny, like with the comedy in Dawn. And Day, I think people forget about, but I feel like Night and Dawn are the most important ones of the franchise, most influential. But this one just felt like it's a zombie movie that anyone else in the horror genre made. Like, it's not anything really special at all. At least Diary of the Dead had the found footage angle. And I don't even like that one, but like at least that had the found footage angle. This one doesn't have anything that makes it stand out. They do things that are in the other movies, so it's kind of like a culmination of the other movies. They mention things like, oh, the zombies from the previous life will be doing things that they did in the previous life, even though they're zombies. Stuff like that. Or showing that they could be in the water, or talking about they could be in the water, like Land of the Dead. So it's just, to me, a culmination of all the movies, but done in such a boring and utterly forgettable way that this just really was just so bland and really, really incredibly forgettable. This one, and it's so sad it's the last one to end the note on his films, the 6 films that he did. But that's what we get, I guess. We get Survival of the Dead, which is just forgettable and boring and lame. So we ended on a weird. We ended really badly on these films for George R. Romero. So yeah, this one was pretty lame and bland. So yeah, I'm really interested to see, like, man, I just don't. I'm interested to see if like anybody really likes this one. I really don't like it at all. Man, this one just really was bland again. I keep repeating myself, but it was just boring. So that's my thoughts on Survival of the Dead. Tell me down below what you think of this movie. I want to see if people like this movie. Hopefully people will. Because I like when people think differently than me. I think that's a cool thing. Whenever people always have different opinions, that's what makes people unique. So I think that is cool. And I hope that there are people who like this movie. Even though I don't, I hope there are. So tell me down below what you think of Survival of the Dead. And thank you guys so much for watching.